What's going on, guys? So I have an exciting day today. Actually, it was exciting yesterday, but I'm going to show you what I'm excited about today. Check this out. So this is the debris fork that I purchased off of Amazon, and my buddy, the welder, who made it possible for me to attach it to the front of my excavator. So now I have a tremendous amount of capabilities with this to lift things up and get things higher than you might normally be able to reach with the tractor. This is super, super cool. We played around with it quite a bit yesterday, just seeing what its capabilities are. Let me show you what he did. Hang tight, I'll be right back. To adequately show you what he did, we have to get inside of the excavator and get things positioned a little better. Get this thing started up. All right, this thing is super, super cool, and it's got so much capability. We can articulate it whatever way we want, in any position we want, and it reaches every angle we would need it to reach, even when the stick and boom are at the highest level that they can be at. Very cool. But let me go ahead and show you how this thing's designed so you can see it. Okay, so if you saw this thing in the original video, you probably knew that it was right here to here. This was the whole length. From here to there is 21 inches, and it's like 30 inches to this point, which is not long enough to do a heck of a lot. So I'm gonna have to fabricate a way to extend the forks out further to lift things up that might be larger or have a larger base to it. But what he added on was this whole boxed section here. Check out the welds. I mean, this dude is a perfectionist. So he added all of this structure right here. This is 1/4 inch thick sidewall material. He added this 1/4 inch plate right here. He boxed the section up because this piece right here, as you can see, it protrudes up about 1 inch over the actual fork itself. So he wanted to box this up, attach it there. He attached this to this. So this piece was already here. Check that out. Looks really, really good. I bought these wings off of Amazon. They were about $65, 1/2 inch thick steel. It's a tight fit. I do need to probably grind out a little bit of the edge there because I wasn't able to get this wedge in as tight as I would have liked it. So I need to be able to make that work a little better. I might grind the material here down a little bit. But yeah, I need to modify this just a little bit. But check it out. Check out the bottom. So he boxed all of this in down here, added this portion right here, used some tubular steel right here. And I told him I didn't need it to hold 3,000 pounds. I only need it to hold maybe a maximum of 1,500 pounds, in that range. But it looks really, really good. And we're gonna get a heck of a lot of use out of this, especially when it comes to lifting things up really high like air conditioning units. Now I showed you guys a hoist system with chains that I had made, but after kind of reviewing the challenges with working with something like that on top of a structure like an RV, I opted not to use that. I'll probably use that for something else if I need to, but don't really need to now that I have this. And part of the project I'm going to do today is to box out a pallet so it fits these forks perfectly, so I have a larger or longer platform to put things on that won't need to hold a tremendous amount of weight, just maybe a few 100 pounds. But yeah, I actually already ordered the steel. These are 2 by 2 inch tubular pieces, and I ordered 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch 48 inch long tubes that will slide over these, so I can use it more like a forklift, even though understanding the forklift spacing is going to be different. But yeah, it'll definitely give me that distance I need to be able to get under things that might be a little bit deeper. Anyways, what do you guys think? Let's get inside so I can show you what the articulation looks like. I know some folks are going to want to know if I can tilt the forks in the direction I might need them, considering how the wedge lock plate on the excavator is positioned. So let's say I want to get close to the ground. There's flat and level with the ground right there. Let's say I want to move it back. Right there, which I shouldn't really ever need to have it positioned that way for any reason. But let's just say I want to lift something up. This is where people are going to wonder, how well is this going to work? Okay, that is as high as I can go. Let's just show you if I was going to go over the RV. Let me drop it down a little bit. Don't want to hit anything. So that would be kind of a loading level. I can actually go down about another foot if I had to. And I could move it forward also. So yeah, probably right around there. Me and a buddy up there could easily move an AC off of it, load one onto it, not have any problems at all. But it would definitely help to have those forks extended out a little further than they are. That's my biggest challenge at the moment. I could bring it down a little bit if I had to. Like right there. Now I'm probably maybe about 8 inches off of the roof at this point. And then simply load it up. I could just tilt it back if I needed to, which would probably work out instead of having to put the extensions on. And then lower it down. Check that out. It's all about being patient and slow. And I'm on the ground. What do you guys think? That is pretty cool. Can't wait to put this to work. I am going to work on a pallet that I can attach to it today. So I can probably go ahead and spin it around because I'll be working over here. Hover that off of the ground a little bit so I can work underneath it. And there we go. Pretty cool, huh? Well, so we're going to work on something today to see if it can help us at least get a bigger platform underneath it, so whenever we load things on and off of it, it might make life a little easier. Okay, so what we have going on here is I have a sheet of plywood that I've cut in half. It's going to be 35.5 inches long because this sheet was 70 inches already, which is going to be plenty of length off the front. Right now it's 21 inches, so this is going to be significantly longer. I'm taking these 2x4 pieces. I've cut them to also 35.5 inches. I'm mounting them to where they will rest on 3 of the forks, the outer 2 ones and the one inner one. And then I will be strapping it down or creating kind of a pallet type situation from the other side where I can just simply slide this on and it will hold itself in place. I think once I get to that point, you'll see why that should work really well. At this point, I'm just going to be attaching the plywood to the 2x4s and then I'll box it off on the inside so it creates some rigidity. But it's coming along, and it's a pretty simple project. I think when I'm done with it, you guys will see what was going through my brain whenever I started this. Okay, so this thing's getting heavier and heavier by the second, and what I've done here is I've used all of these structural screws. It kind of wraps around the outside here, and because the forks are 2 inches, it pretty much gives me the clearance I need with a couple of spacers to make the bottom kind of like a pallet. So the back will simply slide on. It'll be braced right here and right here underneath the forks, and it'll act like a big pallet, and it shouldn't slide off. I'll brace the front of it. I just wanted to come test fit it to make sure everything looks good. very little side-to-side movement. On the bottom, you can see how I've framed it here, so it should not slide off under any circumstances, especially once I put the 2 additional cross members here to support it, and then the brace across the front. And all the weight is going to be downward on here as well, so it's not going to be pulling against the center. Yep, I'd say it's gonna work out really well. Anyways, on to the next part of this. One of the benefits of an excavator is the fact that you can move things around. So I can work on this on here now. You can see how it's positioned. There's really no way for it to slide off. And once I reinforce it across the bottom here, and then right here, and then I put the front piece on, we should be good to go. I don't think there's going to be any realistic circumstance that this thing's going to come off, as long as it's slid all the way in place. And I am likely going to put some chain loops right here that loop around these, just to ensure that it can't come off. But we'll see. Coming along, this is working out really, really well so far. Okay, so we have finished, and you saw the bottom, we reinforced it with 2x6s. You can actually see the screws right there. So there's 2x6 here, 2x6 there to reinforce this part, 2x4, 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 and then it's cross braced at the front and back. We have a 2x8 with washers that space it off of that 2x4, and then I used 6-inch structural screws going in to strengthen this area up, because the overhang off of the front of the fork starts right about here. So anything on the front there is going to add a tremendous amount of leverage towards the back here. And that's only assuming we're lifting things that are crazy, crazy heavy. But I have the excavator extended all the way out, just so you can kind of see we are off the ground. And check that out. It's like a trampoline, kind of. That is working perfectly, and I don't think we'll have any problem loading things on here, especially things like air conditioning units. We have plenty of length here now to be able to hold, length and width, to hold whatever we want on here. I would imagine, my guess is that this is capable of supporting well over 1,000 pounds. And what I did before I started recording was to do something I should probably do right now, to take it off and show you how easy it is to put back on. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So all I do to take it off is I tilt the forks down like this. Let it drop, and to put it back on, just position the forks behind it like this, get it close. I don't want to try to slide it into the grooves by itself, because I do risk hitting the lumber inside, and this thing could easily break that. So I have it spaced about 2.5 inches off the ground, and then just come over here like this, grab it, and slide it back on, which is kind of a two-handed thing. It was a lot easier the first time I did it with two hands. There we go. That's all there is to it. Check that out. That is going to come in really handy. And like I said, I'm going to drill an eyelet through here, and I'm going to make it so I can loop around the back of this, just so there's no chance of this just sliding off if for some reason I hit a control too hard and it tilts forward. But that's kind of the same thing you have to worry about with pallets on a forklift, anything really that could potentially slide off the front if you're not careful. But again, it is super strong, not going anywhere, and I think it accomplishes exactly what we want it to. What do you guys think? I know I kind of hodgepodged the thing together with extra lumber I had out here. I didn't really go to the store to specifically buy lumber for this. I have enough extra lumber laying around, and for what we'll be using it for, I think it'll work out really, really well. But I'd love to know your opinion. Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again very soon.